What is up, everybody? It is Lawrence again from My Sneakers, and today we have one of the most OG sneakers from New Balance. And actually, give me 1 second. I pick this up off the floor. So one of my most worn sneakers in the last, I think, 2 years, maybe a year and a half, around that time frame, is the 990 V5. It has been through hell and high water. It has been travels with me. It is now my dog park sneaker. It's got shit and poop and all that other stuff. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't believe I'm holding this in my hand, showing it off, and I'm about to touch other shit in here. But today we actually have a completely different sneaker, which is the 990 version 1. This is part of the version series of the 40th anniversary of the 990. So this is the 990 V1. So the one that basically started it all. And this sneaker actually took 4 years to develop. They started in 1978, finished in 1982. I have no idea why this is actually being released in 2021, because it would have only been 39 years since the initial release of this sneaker. But I'm not mad. I like the sneaker a lot. It looks awesome. I'm just kind of glad that I was actually able to cop it. I bought this at retail at Kith. Honestly, almost like 2 weeks, maybe a week to 2 weeks after the release. I didn't expect them to actually have them because I struck out on raffles, but I got them in the store, which I'm super stoked about. They're basically re-releasing versions of the 990 for its 40th anniversary. So I assume, you know, version 3 and 4 might be releasing in 2022, and I believe version 2 is releasing sometime in 2021. For the most part, really awesome sneaker. And let's start with the rundown like we always do. So the rundown of the sneaker, the retail price of this is $175, which is extremely expensive for an OG sneaker with not too much technology inside of it. However, if any of you guys have bought a 990, they're made in USA, and the made in USA versions are pretty pricey in general. You're thinking of $150 to $200 no matter what. So when you're thinking about the pricing there, it kind of fits in line with that. With that said, you're getting a lot more technology when you're buying the 5th version versus the 1st version. But obviously they're releasing this for nostalgic reasons and also really to celebrate an anniversary. So I'm okay with the price, but it's still, it's not the, it's definitely not the cheapest shoe, and you're not getting much for it. In terms of sizing, so with almost all my New Balances, I go a half size down. My typical true to size is a 7.5 in US men's. And for New Balance, for the most part, I go down half a size. There are some sneakers that fit a little bit tighter, like the 997, that I go pretty much true to size on those. In terms of style, I'm actually gonna give these a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, there's really not much to talk about the sneaker. It looks cool in terms of a retro runner in today's day and age. Is honestly de facto standard in terms of what most companies are releasing. I mean, Nike has done a crazy amount of work in terms of re-releasing a lot of the classics they've had from the past, and Adidas has also done the same over the last couple of years. These kind of retro-based runners are really, what's hitting the market and selling really well. That's produced to the masses. But at 7.5, it is a really clean and extremely wearable sneaker. I mean, there's pretty much no outfit that you'll not be able to wear this with, which I think is cool. I feel like you could dress this with the tux, and it would still actually look pretty dope. Wow, I can't believe I just used dope. Finally, going to comfort, I give these a 5 out of 10. And I think it's a really comfortable sneaker, don't get me wrong, and I think it's actually a little bit better than a 5 overall. But when I'm comparing these to the 990 series at large, this is a very ununique pair. I'd say from a comfort level perspective, it's very much, a 40-year-old sneaker. Before we get started with the sneaker, this is the New Balance box. It is a very thin box. If you guys have ever, I think this is only a sneaker where I've had such a thin box, which is Aimé Leon Dore 550s. They also have a thin box like this. This has an old school logo done in a kind of baby blue color. So in the bag, which I did not expect, is actually this dust bag that has the 990 V series on it, and you can see the dates that each of the 990s were actually released. So there's definitely going to be 4 versions in this specific pack. So now that we're done with the rundown, let's get into the review of the 990 V1. So the 990 V1 is really made out of 2 materials on the upper. The first one is a mesh, which is done pretty much all throughout on the bottom of the shoe. You have it hitting in the toe guard area, you have it hitting on side panels, as well as the 3 corners panels in the back. The rest of the sneaker is done in a very traditional New Balance pigskin or pigskin suede that is done throughout. It is very plush to the touch. There is one piece of quality control issue that I had, which is, kind of back here on that quarter panel tab going into the back. It's not a huge deal, but some of the stitching is either off by a little bit, or the suede panel itself was not done great. There's also the TPU that is stitched into the back heel, and that's pretty much a heel counter. I believe New Balance called this a motion control system. Then the N is stitched in a white leather, and that is done on both the lateral as well as medial sides of the sneaker. And what I think is interesting is the reason they're using red, and I'm not really sure why they're using ruby red, but it's to celebrate the 40th anniversary. And so you have hits of version 1, which is in the sneaker over there. And then you also have hits of that ruby red on the tongue, which has the OG New Balance logo. Then in the back of the sneaker, you have that New Balance done in a ruby with a 3M hit at the very top of the sneaker. Going up the top of the sneaker, you actually have flat style lacing over here with a very thinly padded tongue. It's actually super, super thin. And at the very rear of it, it actually has more of that ruby red that says New Balance USA, which looks like a very vintage logo. Beyond the white laces, you actually have another set of laces done in 4 different colors. So you have the white laces, but you also have a light gray, a dark gray, as well as a red. I haven't tried the other ones because I really like how the white looks, but I think if you want a more subdued look, you can go with the grays, and if you want something that pops up a little more, you can definitely go with the reds. I probably wouldn't go with the reds, but it is what it is. Here you have 2 interesting elements. The side panels, where the sock liner is, you have a relatively soft suede-like material. I'm not sure if it actually is suede. It could be a cheaper felt, but it feels pretty soft to the touch, which is great. It's probably gonna help you not slip a little bit out of the sneaker. Finally, in the inside of the sneaker, you have the insole with the Lawrence, Massachusetts, I believe clock tower there. And it says version series 990 V1. Moving into the midsole, you have end cap, which is New Balance's proprietary foam. I have no idea if this was good foam, bad foam, or whatever back in the day, and I have no idea how true to form this end cap is compared to the 40-year-old version. But for the most part, for you guys, it's soft, it's plush, it feels pretty good. Finally, at the bottom of the sneaker, you have a sole, which is done in Vibram. It is actually pretty slippery from what I can tell, so I don't know how much traction this actually has. But Vibram soles typically last a pretty long time. I prefer Vibram soles on a lot of kind of my more technical sneakers, but this does not feel very very stable. Honestly, not even that sturdy. So we'll see how long it lasts over time, but for the most part, not the best. So what are my thoughts on the sneaker? In my opinion, New Balance has done a phenomenal job in recrafting these. I do enjoy what they did here. I kind of like the idea of the Virgin series where they'll go through 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think probably 5, and probably leading up to the Virgin 6 that will be released sometime in 2022. I will probably be rocking these quite a bit. I just feel like it's one of those sneakers I can put on really easily. I can slip them on and off. I don't have to worry too much about, if it gets dirty or anything like that. And overall, the build quality and everything is relatively good. And that's it, guys. If you have any questions, leave that in the comments below. Did you pick up a pair? If you picked up a pair, do you love these? Do you guys wear the other 990s and think they're one of the best sneakers of all time? Because I do. If you haven't already, definitely hit that like button as well as subscribe button and that bell icon if you want more content like this. But until next time, this is the 990 V1. Peace.